submitted to Microsoft?
Well, yes, we're going to have a podcast channel on our website, so we will
Oh, nice.
access to it from clients. And as we sell the Stratus ID solution, it's a tool for the team here to kind of share a customer story about how successful it's been and kind of how it works.
Very cool.
We won't be surprised if Microsoft doesn't pick it up in some way, shape, or form. And they're still talking about the video aspect to it, Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds great.
That takes a little more coordination. So.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so I've hit record because we have an editor who's going to splice the sound, so he's got some stuff to work with at the beginning.
Are you sure it's recording? I saw it say recording and then it went away.
Oh, it went away?
No, I see it like a little green or a little record button in the upper right hand corner.
Okay.
Yeah, you're recording.
Okay. Good. So before the first half of this, I'll have been speaking with Greg, and I'll kind of finish by saying thank you, Greg, for introducing the solution to us. And then I'll start.
Okay.
Okay. Now we want to continue our discussion with Sean Guthrie, the Director of Information Technology with GoAuto, one of our clients currently using the solution. Hi, Sean. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks very much for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
No worries. Can you tell us a little bit about GoAuto and some of the challenges you experienced before exploring the Stratus ID solution?
Absolutely. GoAuto is one of the largest dealership groups in Canada. We have over 40 stores across Alberta, BC, and Ontario, as well as in the Northwest Territories. We have over 10,000 new and used vehicles for sale on our website through our other partners. And we also provide services in the finance, insurance, collision repair, and in the mortgage sector. We represent basically 20 different vehicle brands and have our own customer loyalty program as well. That's a little bit about GoAuto. The problem that we were experiencing and where Stratus ID really helped us is our current onboarding process was a very clunky, manual, and required a lot of effort to set up staff in the different systems we use at GoAuto. And not to mention there was a lot of back and forth between IT and the different business units, such as payroll and HR and the hiring manager. We were always kind of getting into arguments on, who the missing components, stuff that payroll needed, stuff that IT needed, and really IT was typically the last to know about these new hires. And we knew that about 30% of our service desk tickets were for the onboarding and offboarding activities, with at least 90 minutes in total to complete those onboarding activities on average.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of work. How did Stratus ID solve these business challenges for you?
So we took a different approach to the whole aspect of IT needing to know, when new staff were coming on board. And, we thought, who in the business is the actual first people to know, besides the actual person doing the hiring. And after, going through the business, we found out that payroll is typically the first to know, because when employees are onboarded, we want to pay them right away. And more so when employees leave, we want to stop paying them right away. So we contacted Stratiform, and they had a solution called Stratus ID. And after we saw that, the light bulb went off, and it's basically this is the key to solve our problem. And so basically the Stratus ID, from my perspective, it acts as an orchestration layer between the business units in IT and in payroll, in our case, essentially create the user account that information is then pushed into all the systems, such as our HRIS system, Active Directory, productivity app, and our primary business line of business applications. And Stratus ID is the central point of input, which then reduce the repeated effort of having to type the same information to each of those systems manually. Our ticket count within IT, as a result, have dropped because payroll, who was really already typing that information in anyway, has now offloaded that task from IT. We worked with Stratiform, put in place specific checks to ensure the correct information was gathered and then entered, and we've put actual complete trust into that system. We've basically reduced our onboarding ticket count by 15%, as well as reduced the level of effort from 90 minutes originally to roughly 5 minutes, which at this point we're really only handling the exception.
That sounds great. How long did it take to implement or install this solution for you?
It was relatively quick. I was pleasantly surprised with that. There was some upfront work that we needed to iron out from a business process of onboarding. We were very immature in that part of the business, but once that was done, Stratus ID essentially took a couple of weeks to get that, a couple to a few weeks, I can't recall exactly, but after it was installed in Azure, we then tweaked the process, we tweaked the notifications and tweaked the workflow with Greg at Stratiform, and to get to a point where we felt comfortable with the workflow, and more importantly, the business felt comfortable with that. We piloted the system in real time, and we put in a temporary workflow process where IT had to approve the last step. Right. This ensured that the system was doing as expected, and we weren't basically getting a lot of garbage into the system. And just over a month ago, in fact, we removed that temporary workflow, and the system is handled without any IT intervention at all. We're in the process of finalizing the termination process, which is another component of Stratus ID, and that will eliminate another 10 to 12% of our tickets and essentially eliminate any effort required to terminate an employee from an IT perspective.
Okay. Well, how much time and or money have you saved with this new solution?
I think it's difficult to say how much money we've saved at this point. However, what I can say is that we have had some cost avoidance with respect to hiring additional service desk staff. We were looking at hiring an additional technician just with the large amount of tickets. Like I said before, we had 30% of our tickets are on the onboarding and offboarding perspective. We are planning to expand that team to keep up with the demand. However, from what we've seen with Stratus ID, the reduction in tickets and effort on those tickets has eliminated the need for that additional hire. So the time saved on the new onboards, as I said earlier, we were spending about 90 minutes, and we're down to roughly 5 minutes a ticket, and that's even if we even get a ticket. It's really only the exceptions. While the time and money are great aspects to improve on, I think what's more important is that our new and transitioning employees have a positive experience. There are fewer errors. Employees are able to get access to the systems they need right away, and more importantly, right away and at the first time. So we're not having to go back and visit them and, oh, we forgot this or we forgot that.
That's really great to hear. So how often do you guys use Stratus ID today?
The solutions used on a daily basis of payroll. The nature of the retail automotive business is we have a higher turnover rate, the attrition rate. I don't have the numbers in front of me right now, but they are typically the higher end in the retail space. So the ability that Stratus ID provides for us is really to reduce that effort and with having to utilize the existing information that payroll's already entering in, we've essentially now taken that effort and duplicated it with Stratus ID to improve the process.
Well, again, that's really great. I have one final question for you today, Sean. Would you recommend Stratus ID to another business?
I definitely recommend Stratus ID to anyone that really doesn't have any automated process in place to handle the orchestration of onboarding and offboarding. The team, from my perspective at Stratiform, worked very closely with us. They took the time to understand our problem, put a plan of action together to address that problem, and the results are exactly what I anticipated when I first saw the solution at the beginning. So again, I really appreciate everything that Stratiform has done for us.
Well, great. Thank you so much, Sean, for your time today. And thank you, Greg, as well, for sharing your thoughts with us. And we hope to talk to you guys again soon.
My pleasure.
Thanks, Sean.
And then I'll record that last part later. You know why my phone was muted, or because all my emails were coming in. I couldn't close my email browser.
He can edit.
And now I'm trying to figure out how to.
That background noise to like nothing.
Right, that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, that's all good.
Okay. Well, there. Let's stop.